Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Silent Podcast, where we're anything but silent. Today, we're going to be covering Never Have I Ever, Season 2, Episode 2. Things are getting wild for our girl. And I'm your host, Sasha Joseph, to talk you through it all. But of course, my co host is going to be here grounding us as we navigate this party, everyone. Chappell is here. How are you?
Sasha, I'm good. Have you ever thrown a rager or a big party?
Hell no. I'm so afraid of my mom. There's no way in hell. And my parents did go to India while I was in high school. And I no. Absolute. I'm too scared. There's no way.
Yeah, I've never thrown a party. It was more like if my mom left town or was like busy or something like that, I was gonna go, like I was gonna be in the streets. Like I was just gonna go like visit my friends or going to the mall. Like I was just gonna be out later than I normally am, or
Yeah.
like just away. Or even the best times is when I just decided not to leave the house at all. And I just like locked all the doors, laid on the couch and like ate like junk food and watched TV the whole time. Like that's the best time that I had. I was never in a situation where I could just throw a huge party like Davey does in this episode.
I mean, where does the funds come from? Because for me, like
Right.
I had a credit card, but it was only to like build credit. And my
Hmm.
mom like was on the bank account. So like how am I paying for a
Yeah.
party?
Yeah, like you swipe that card one time and your mom is calling you like, what's happening? What happened? What is this? What
Yeah.
is this for? So yeah, no, I never
100%.
had expendable funds to just go buy, food and drinks and stuff. But I have been to high school parties when I was in high school to where like I would be like, oh my gosh, I really threw a party at these people's house. Like, but I think it was more like people whose families were cool with that kind of stuff, like, "Oh,
Got
it's
it.
fine if you could throw a party," and I'd be, like, standing in the corner thinking, like, "My family would never be okay with this, but
Wow.
okay."
I've never been to a high school party, like, ever, so I could never tell you what it is like, because to me, I always think of it, yeah, like the movies, because
Mhm.
I was too scared to go to one, and me and my friends actually, it was like we had a small little group, and we all kinda just hung out ourselves. We never really worried about other people or really, like, talked to them. It was just like we talked to ourselves, and we hung out with each other until it was, like, curfew time.
Yeah. So I've never in my neighborhood, we didn't have, like to my knowledge, because this could have been happening, I just wasn't in that area, in that group, but, like, I didn't have any friends that were throwing the big parties, but I did go one time with my cousin to one of her high school parties. It was, like, maybe their graduation party or something. And it was the
Oh,
first time that I just seen a massive amount of like high school kids drunk. Like everybody was tore
wow.
up. And I was sitting there like in the corner all sheltered. Like I'm afraid to do what y'all are doing. And they were wilding. I mean, like flow riders playing in the background, like
Oh
boots
my
with the
god.
fur. And people are like mounting each other. And they were
Not
playing beer.
mounting.
I was like, "Oh my gosh, get off of each other!" Like, because it wasn't my friend group, right? So I didn't know any of these people. So I'm standing in the corner, like, "Man, y'all trying to get in trouble." So it was interesting, but then that's the first time I think I ever seen somebody play beer pong, and I was like,
Oh,
"Oh, okay."
yeah.
And my first thought about beer pong was that this is disgusting. Like y'all are taking this ball and y'all are throwing it and it's bouncing off the table and getting in the cup and then y'all are drinking it out the cup. But that ball hit the ground, that ball hit the floor. It's dirty. I was like, I'm out. I've never been a beer pong player just because of that experience. Like I will play the game, but I'm not drinking out that cup. Y'all are crazy.
Yeah, that's me. Like, I like to play because I'm a competitive human being, but not because I, like, care to, like, to drink any of that. I think beer is disgusting.
Oh
So, it's
no,
just
I'm the opposite.
yeah, things that I hate beer, but it's just I don't know. My husband is very into beer pong. Him and his friends built a beer pong table in college, and all of this stuff. They still have it. So it's just being with someone that really cares about it. Like he's that person that is like, Sasha, name the cup, and then I'll be like that cup, and then he's like, great, and then we'll try to make it into that cup. So
Oh
he's like
yeah.
that extra with beer pong, and it's like, chill out, dude.
He's a professional. See, I
Yeah.
like beer. I like beer a lot. And so I would tell people like, I'll play beer pong with you, but I'm gonna need a side cup. I will drink
Mm.
whatever necessary to be drunk, and you ain't never gotta worry about me. No one has ever had to force me to drink, Sasha. I've always been very on level with that. Like, okay, I'll bring me the six pack. It's fine. But like, I am definitely not going to be drinking out of that cup once I see that ball hit that table. I'm done.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just never been up my alley. But you know, we do get to explore the high school party in this time, and I don't think they played beer pong, but there was some drinking going
Flip
on in this
cup.
episode.
They played
Yeah.
Flip Cup.
You're a
Those are,
flip
yeah,
cupper.
things I didn't know existed. Rage Cage, the wildest game I ever seen in my life. And it's only when I started dating my husband is when I was like, "What is this?" And they were like, "You're in a sorority. How do you not know?" And I was like, "We didn't do this. I don't know." Oh my god. But yes, so let's get into it because we're talking never have I ever thrown a rager. But if you have questions, if you have feedback, make sure you tweet us or you email us at silentpodcastsfeedback@gmail.com. It's also down in the description so you don't have to worry about writing stuff down. So, let's get into it because our girl is in full play mode, okay? Ben and Paxton are both texting her good morning. She can't believe this is going on in her wildest fantasies, okay? Because she's over here holding hands with Ben, and then Eleanor starts crying. So Ben leaves so that she can go talk to Paxton. I mean, this is a wild Chappelle.
Yeah, it's a well-oiled machine. They're at school, and I mean, every time that she needs to be with Ben, her friends just jump in. They kind of like play interference, and then she can slide over to Paxton. I mean, she's doing a lot of making out, so much making out
Yes.
that her lips are starting to get sore. Like she's studying with Ben because that's their thing, and then they make out, and then she plays video games with Paxton, and then they make out. So Davy's living her best life.
Yeah, and then just icing her lip. I was like, I don't think I've ever needed to ice my lips. Like, what are you doing?
Davy is out here she's doing the most. If you gotta ice your lips, you might be kissing a little too much.
Right? Like, what are you doing? Like, fix it. And then and then I love that John McEnroe was like, she's playing doubles like a pro. Stop it. Stop the madness.
This is why that's her narrator. He gets it.
Yeah. And then I think everyone, Davy included, so Fabiola, Eleanor, and Davy are just so confused how they still haven't gotten caught. Like, how is this possible? And then we
Yeah.
get our Fab. We all need a Fab in our lives because she actually ran some numbers, Chappelle, and of the statistic probability of her getting caught. Turns out it's very low because Davy is invisible and so is Ben. And not only that, Paxton becomes invisible when Davy's with him. That's a wrap for me. Like, that's wild.
Yeah, it's one of those things where we talked about in the last episode that Paxton and Ben already don't have anything in common. So
Mhm.
the likelihood of them just running into each other or being seen together is already slim. But Davy and the other two girls in the UN, Fab and Eleanor, they're so like invisible socially that even Davy just being around Paxton makes makes Paxton basically invisible. Like
Yeah.
it's like an empty bus seat sitting next to him sometimes. It's very weird, but Davy doesn't love to hear this, but it does give her some comfort that she can keep this going a little bit longer. She's just torn because Ben appeals to her super brainy side, and Paxton appeals to her super horny side. She says,
It's perfection. I get it. Yes, for sure. Like, sometimes you're just like, can I take half of him and can I take half of him? And then together they make the perfect boyfriend. But
"Yep,
unfortunately, I'm not Frankenstein, so I cannot make a monster in that way. Very
yeah, it's like
sad.
the build a boyfriend workshop. Like the build a bear.
Please.
Like you just go in and put the pieces together, and now she's got it.
Listen, no one's perfect. That's apparently the except me, but other people.
Of course.
And then a few more weeks though until she's home free because she said, once I go to India, they can pick up the pieces. I don't care. That's on them. Davy's heartless, like very F boy behavior.
But again, we like this. I think the only issue is that she has now committed to Ben. At the end of the
Yes.
last episode, she told Ben, "I'm your girlfriend." So all this kissing that she's doing with Paxton is cheating, and we
Yep.
don't love that.
I know. And I love how Paxton also like doesn't want to be her boyfriend or any of that. Like he's just kind of like, yeah, like let's hang out.
I think in his mind he doesn't have to say the words.
No, they're like
So like
exclusive.
right, like he said, like once Paxton Hall Yoshida starts showing you attention, you just shut everything down. I think that's what he's saying. Like I told you I liked you, so of course you belong to me. Like I don't understand the issue.
Ugh.
But he's never actually asked her to be his girlfriend, and Ben has, so she technically is with Ben.
Yep. And not only are they going to do this, dirt, they're going to throw a small party, a little going away party. So, which of the boys are we going to invite? This one threw
Yeah.
me for a loop because she said Ben does like classy things, or we're going to do a little soiree. But Paxton has a fake, so we're going to invite Paxton.
Yeah, look, I mean, having a fake ID will definitely get you like, some alcohol, so that's nice. But I don't think Ben can't not get alcohol. He's very wealthy, and I'm
That's
sure
what
his
I was
parents
going to
don't care about him.
say.
Yeah, his parents barely care about him, so he could get it as well. I think Davy is more like, listen, if I gotta go have a party, like I want to be next to my new like eye candy, you know. And they're throwing this party while Melanie is going to be out of town. Of course, she's going to India. And I like that. Oh, and I guess Kamala's been working late, so they do have that cover where Davy can do this. But I like that Eleanor is like, this is going to be a small adult couple soiree. It's going to have oysters and champagne, all the good stuff. So, I don't know what's wrong with these kids.
They're just so bizarre. Like what they think is, a party, right? It's like a soiree. Eleanor, stop it. People like Eleanor cannot be in charge of things. Like they just
Mm-mm.
can't.
So extra for no reason.
Ugh. And then, speaking of some sense that you and I are trying, we do have one character trying to speak some sense because she's skipping the gym to run some errands, but in actuality, she running back to Dr. Ryan because Dr. Ryan is back, baby.
Yes, we have to figure out a way to get Niecy Nash on this podcast. Like, I'm just gonna start DMing her the links and saying, like, "Come, please be our therapist for the final episode." So if you're listening
I
to this,
would
tweet,
lose it.
yeah, tweet Niecy Nash and tell her to come to check us out. But Dr. Ryan is amazing. I think the issue here starts with Davy skipping PE to go do this, right? Like she's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna run and go talk to Dr. Ryan real quick in the middle of the school day." So she, of course, shows up with chocolates because she's going to apologize, so she has to have her candy. But she's also here to fire Dr. Ryan. She's like, "I'm better now. Whatever you had said to me worked. I've apologized, and now me and my mom are moving to India. I don't need you anymore. So thanks, bye."
Yeah, she straight up said PE credits don't transfer to India, so I'm out. No lies detected. And then they start chatting because she's talking about how excited Davy is. Why? Well, why is Davy so excited? Turns out she's dating two boys and she's living her best life. And my favorite line, I think, of this episode, do the boys know they're in an open relationship?
Yeah, and Davy's like, "Nah, they don't." You know, and it's funny because we talked about how Paxton has never asked Davy to be his girlfriend, but Davy is saying, "I have two boyfriends." Like,
Yeah.
yeah, she's very aware that, like, no, 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 I am with both of them, so she knows that this could go bad and hurt both of their feelings. But like you said, she's going to be in India, so she's not really worried about it. And Dr. Ryan feels like the idea of this move is what's really making her stress out to make these bad decisions.
Yeah, it's almost like textbook avoidance. We've said this before about Davy, but yeah, it's just like she is so ridiculous with everything that she does. And of course, she has to be just as ridiculous with this because why couldn't you just, be a normal girl and say, "Yeah, I'm, maybe gonna just be a grown up and not date, or maybe I'll be a grown up and not hurt people's feelings." She doesn't care. She said, "I'm gonna be how many thousands of miles away? They'll figure it out. They really will."
Exactly. And Dr. Ryan tells her that new relationships are built on honesty and trust. And Davey, this just ain't it. This is not it. You think you have two boyfriends, but if new relationships are built on honesty and trust, it looks like you probably have zero. And that
Damn.
was like the killer. Just that is the truth. Dr. Ryan is preaching right now.
Yeah. And also, I'll say, like, as a 30-year-old person, I agree. And now I'm like, yeah, you shouldn't do this. But as like someone that age or even college, I think I wouldn't have told anyone because I know that I'm doing wrong. But what can I do? I want to do it.
I think Davy thinks that people support her in her dirt. Like
Yeah,
she's
she's a
like,
mess.
isn't it cool what I'm doing? Like I'm getting out of here. Like it's a victimless crime. I'm gonna do this. They're never gonna find out. And if they do, I won't be here to find out. What could go wrong? And so I think she's a little proud of it. Honestly, it's like
Oh, 100%.
she can't wait to reveal to the world that she's doing this. Honestly, a part of Davy kind of wants to get caught. She wants people to know that she's pulling this off. She wants to be a legend.
She's like, "Me. I want them to know it was me." That's her right
Mhm.
now. Uh,
Exactly.
a mess, a mess. So should we now, like, because we keep skipping, right? From now on, we're gonna be skipping from like America to India to America to India. So should we, if possible, try to do it in chunks?
Okay. Do you wanna go to India and just
Yeah.
handle all of that first?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay.
So we are in India, everyone. We're in Chennai to be exact, which is in South India, and a very beautiful place. I went there for my wedding, and she is home. Nalini's home. She's so excited. She comes, she's home alone, or comes home alone, and then she's greeted, as John McEnroe says, with the fanfare of an Amazon package.
Yeah.
To some people, that might be a lot, but I want to make it clear it is not a lot.
Yeah, her mom's kinda like, "Oh, I didn't even know you were coming. It's good to see you again, and, I'm about to go." Because her mom is clearly overdressed, and Nalini even notices, like, "I thought you and I were gonna go looking for condo. We're about to go shopping for a thing. Like, you should be dressed for business." And her mom's like, no, me and your dad are going off to a wedding, so bye."
Yeah, because Nalini's like, they're going to hike up the condo price, bro. Like, what are you doing? And it very much, like in Bollywood movies and in like rich families, I have definitely seen this where like everyone is kind of doing their own thing, especially if they're like richer. They're kind of just like, yeah, we're just gonna like do our own thing and figure our life out, and then y'all can do your own thing. And it, unfortunately, Nalini's like mom is living her best life. She doesn't really care to, deal with all this other stuff, and she says, "Sorry, we out." Because she has her wedding jewelry on. And listen, if you're Indian, you know that that's special. That's it. You gotta go to the locker and take out all their gold, and then you gotta wear it. It's a lot. It's a process. Okay, it's a process.
Yeah, and, this is kinda disappointing for Nalini because her whole thing is that I wanna go be with family, and she's trying to find
Yes.
out that family does not want to be with you right now. Like, "We'll get to you one day, but right now we got things to do." Her mom says, "I have, a value for my social life now. Like, I'm a feminist. It's a feminist idea. We can have social lives. I'm sorry."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Nalini's basically guilt tripping her. She's like, "Well, I could have come next week. Like, what's going on? Like, don't you value your daughter and granddaughter finding a roof over their head instead?" And Nalini's mom is like, "No, actually, I don't. Like, in India they call them kitty parties, where it's like, or kitty party, where it's basically like women getting together and like hanging out. Like that's like
Mhm.
the thing to do. So it's like I understand what she's talking about because they've been empty nesters for so long that it didn't matter to her. She's like, I'm living my life. And she's like, next week is Diwali, which is their the Hindu New Year. And then they're going to Goa, which is a freaking like party like city or state. I think Goa is technically a state.
Mhm.
It's just very small. But, like, party, like, as in, like, white people go there, hardcore drugs, like Thailand, imagine, but,
Okay.
like, in India. That's what Goa is.
Okay. And you and I are going to India in January, right? Like, we're doing
Yes,
this?
obviously. I will take you to
Okay.
Goa.
Alright. I just wanna see it, you know? Just
Yeah, no, there's, like, clubs on, like, the street, like, it's, like, 6th Street, basically.
Oh, yeah, I need to hit the gym then too. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
very debaucherous, like, it's wild. Like, Miami with, like but, Miami and Thailand together, because 'cause I've been to both those places. Yeah, that's what I would
Mhm.
think together is Goa.
Okay.
And I'm
Put that
like,
on my list.
what you doing, auntie, in Goa?" That's what I wanna
Yeah.
know.
Look, she said, "I have to have a life too. Mama gotta have a life too." I love that. I love that for her.
Yep. And then Nalini's also saying, "But listen, I need to find a place to work for my practice." And her mom says, "Work? For what? Just you need to settle down. That's it."
Yeah. Aren't you getting a little too old to be working? Like, it's time for you to be a little less aspirational and focus on self-care, which is also feminist. I read that in what is it? What's the Gwyneth Paltrow,
Yeah,
lifestyle thing?
Goop.
Goop. Yeah, I read that in Goop.
I just can't. Like, I truly like, what a caricature of, like, an absentee parent. Because oh my god, a mess. Because what I am used to when I go to India or when I go to Oklahoma to my mom is how Nalini's mother-in-law is, where she's been calling her nonstop since she landed. Her name's Nirmala, and she's been calling nonstop. But Nalini's like, nah, she's so boring. Like she's constantly telling all these stories about how, she like conned this shopkeeper to give me something cheap. La 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 la. Nalini's over here talking a lot. And of course, Nalini's mom is like not listening. She's like, lentils? You want some lentils? Yeah, yeah, yeah. The maid will make you some lentils. And it's like, that's not what she was saying, dude.
No, this is me and my mom. When I'm around my mom, she's like, I'm about to go by. I'm like, what? But I just got here. She's like, I know, but I got stuff to
Really?
do. Like my mom's on the go, okay. And
Oh,
then like when
yes.
I want to do something for me, that's when she'll be like, but you just got here. So I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. She's like, I
Oh,
mean, you spent the whole time with your friends, or I haven't seen you. I'm like, but when I was sitting here in front of you, you were like, pipe down, The Walking Dead is on, like. So I definitely understand where Nellie's coming from here because this is exactly how my mom treats me.
wow. Yeah, mine is very, no. Like, and good for parents. Like, I think they should have lives. It's
Mm,
something I tell my mom all the time. But when I'm home, like my mom rearranges the whole social schedule where if anything, we're gonna do a party to show off my daughter is home. And it's like, but for what? And it's like, so my mom will call everyone over so that she'll still get her fix, but it's like uninterrupted time with me, period.
yeah,
And I'm like, I want to go see my friends. No, they can come here. You can
that's
sit
funny.
upstairs.
Listen, my mother has gone to my college's homecoming without me, and she has never attended the school. She is not an
What did she
alum.
do there? Oh wait, we don't want
She
to know.
exactly. Like, but like it was like one time I ran into my mom and my brother at homecoming. I was like, I didn't know y'all were here. She's like, oh yeah, we were like calling you or whatever to let you know. I was like, no, I didn't get any calls. And they're just like wandering around, like, eating food and like going to the game. Like, you weren't gonna tell anybody. So now that we're adults, I'll be at homecoming. Me and my cousins always come to homecoming. Like we always go as a group, even though I like
Yeah.
only three of us actually went to the same school, but the other ones know it's about to be like a fun time, so they'll all
Hmm.
come. Oh yeah, you don't think the aunties had matching shirts at homecoming and none of them went to the school? Like all of them, like Prairie View aunt, Prairie View cousin, Prairie View
I'm
mom. I'm like,
dead.
did y'all even say hi? Like I'm like calling, like, hey, don't y'all want to hang out? Do y'all want us to show you around? Where's the food at? Da, da, da. They're like, no, we're fine, it's cool, and then we're gonna go into Houston and shop and blah blah. They have no time for us. My mom and my aunts have moved on.
Oh my god, that's the life like I wish to have when I get older. Like I don't
Yeah.
want to be dependent on like my child for
Mm,
fun. Like I want to love them, but no, I want to be doing the dirt
yeah.
myself.
Oh yeah, even when I was telling like earlier in the year, I did not know on another podcast we talked about me going to Vegas and fighting with my brother. But like
Oh yeah.
even that trip, like my mom, my dad, my brother were all there. Me and my cousins were there. My grandmother was there as well with my aunt and her husband and her and my I don't and like a couple of family friends. And it wasn't a group trip. We all went separately. And like, and I knew because it's been COVID, so I hadn't seen my grandmother, but I knew that was after she got vaccinated, and so she
Yeah.
really wanted to go to Vegas, and so I was like, well, I'm going the same weekend she's going, and I went literally saw my grandmother one time. We had breakfast together on like day 2, and I never
Wow.
saw her again. I have no clue what she did the whole time she was in Vegas. Never saw my mom
Probably
and
prank
dad.
people.
Yeah, like my grandma is just living her life. And then like my mom and dad and my brother and I, like a couple other people, we all had dinner one time. And that was it. Like that was the only time we were all in the same place. Because like they have their own lives. We don't really do that like in my family. Like we have functions that everyone has to be at.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. Like you missed that and everybody's gonna write you off, disown you. But after that, go live your life, be in the streets.
That's all. Yeah, my family would like kill us if we decided not to hang out together. Like if
Wow.
we happen to be in the same spot, that means we will be together in the same spot. When we all drove down to Dallas for my friend's engagement, and so my mom was like, "Yeah, so we're hanging out." And I was like, "No." And then all of a sudden my mom was like, "Cool." And I never saw my mom all weekend. The only time I saw her was at night when we were in the hotel room because we had a suite, so we had two different rooms. So her and my stepdad and me and my husband were in the other room. oh my God. I was like, what are y'all doing? She's like, yeah, I got Indian food for you if you want. And I was like, well, yeah, I want. So I'm going to eat it. But it's like 12 at night. And she's like, what did you do? And I was like, no, what did you do?
Where
Like
have we
out
been?
here. Yeah. And they're just like living their best life. So I do understand that. My mom has lately been understanding that and be like, right, you can't be my whole life. And I was like, ma'am, like you only had one child. Like we need to figure this out.
Yeah, you're like Carly Red and her daughter, you
Yes,
know?
100%, 100%. Oh my God, but I'll never talk about all that stuff.
Right. Check out the Love and Hip Hop Wrap Up on RHAP. Rob has a podcast. If you want to hear
Period.
more about Carly Red and her daughter and their struggles on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta,
Yes,
hosted by
Puya was on
Sasha.
that episode with me.
Yes, check that out if you haven't already listened. It should still be up.
Period. Thank you, Chappelle. And then, because her mom says, listen, you need to go see your mother-in-law. Like, it's the right thing to do. Finally, she does. Okay, so she ends up going. And she goes to Nirmala's house. I mean, she entered a jungle at this point.
Yes.
This lady got plants on plants on plants in the house, but she's genuinely so excited. And I think that's like the excitement that Nalini wanted, but unfortunately
Mhm.
she doesn't get. And then immediately they start like talking. She starts giving her head massage. She brings out coconut oil, which the most Indian thing to ever happen in my life. And I was like, yep, I remember that. And
Yes.
I actually put it on this today because I was like, yeah, my
Mhm.
hair like needs some love. So you got to put that coconut oil. And then she starts like doing all this. And then she's talking to Nalini saying, it's been a hard year, right? How have you been? Da da da. And then Nalini remembers, wow, it really does feel nice to have someone take care of me.
Yeah, she's been longing for this feeling. This is what she
Mhm.
wanted. She's like, I have to move back to India to get to something like this. And so she's happy. Her mother-in-law is of course doing the mother-in-law thing where she's kind of doting over her. She's like, you've gotten too thin, eat something. Here's a massage. But this is what Melody wants. And so she's very excited about it.
Yeah, and then she says, "Okay, you know what? Maybe I'll come back another day." And it seems like then she ends up going back all the time.
Mhm.
And one of the conversations she has is saying Nirmala, says, "You actually cannot move here. You're too westernized. You reached for the seatbelt in the car."
And that was insulting to the driver. Now, Sasha, come on, give me some insight. Is that like an insulting gesture that's like to show like I don't trust your driving?
It's not, I don't know that it's insulting, but I do feel that like they will drag you for being American. They were like, "Oh, look, a seatbelt." Here's the thing,
Mhm.
in India, the traffic is so much that it's not like you're going the speeds that you're going here. So it, it's different. I wear seatbelts in India? Yeah, I think I do. But people would definitely stare at you and be like, of course you're wearing a stupid seatbelt. I see you kind of deal.
Mhm. Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like you must not be from here.
Yeah,
Um
exactly.
The one time I went to New York, and I think I've told this story before, but I basically went like over an overnight trip. It was wild, but I
Mhm.
was I was walking around. I had a good time, but I wanted the New Yorkers to think I was one of them. I didn't want people to think I was a tourist, so I just like dressed down and like wore a hoodie. I had my headphones in the whole time. I didn't talk to nobody, which is hard because as a Texan, I don't want to be like, "Hey, hi, howdy, how you
Right?
doing?" Like I just want
Mhm.
to talk to everybody. And I was just like super standoffish, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm a New Yorker." Like it really felt good to kind of go undercover like that. And so, yeah, I could see myself being in India and being like the idiot who reached for the seatbelt, like making sure I'm getting locked in, just making sure everybody's stable. And everybody's looking at me like, come on, man, go act like you've been somewhere.
Yeah, because I mean, and like a lot of the times you're in taxis or you're in, like rickshaws. What are you gonna do in a rickshaw? You're not taking there's no
Mhm.
seatbelt in a rickshaw.
Yeah. And to Nirmala's point, Melanie did try to bring an entire suitcase of Trader Joe's over to India. So I mean, a part of her is still like, there's some stuff in America that I just really can't go without for a while.
100% truth. And, so they start talking, and then Nirmala says, what would Mohan think? Because we all know, we've seen this many times, that this was Mohan's dream to live in that house in California. And Nalini does say, but yeah, that was Mohan's dream. That wasn't mine. I need to move here. I need family support. Which in my heart, again, I understand. I know you and I have talked about this at
Mhm.
the season finale, but it's still weird. I don't know that I could move to a whole nother country for it.
Yeah. I mean, I'd have to get out that house, for me,
Yes, there's
but
no way I would live in the house.
yeah, they'd be gone, but, I think Nelani's right. She said this was I was fine in India. I came from
Mhm.
Mohan, but I think it was one of those things where, like, well, you only wanna come back because you want family support, but
Yeah.
now that you're back, do you think you're gonna get the family support that you want? Because your mom has paid you dust this entire time.
Literally, oh my god. It's just very unfortunate. Like they act not only have they ignored her, but I think they forgot her age, Chappelle. Because okay, the next scene is that Nalini comes back home to her mom's house, and the groom whose wedding they were at, his grandpa, okay, is there as a widower. And and then I love how her mom, Nalini's mom, says, "Can you believe that?" And Nalini says, "Yes, because of his age, I can believe it."
Yeah, she's like, "Y'all have so much in common. Y'all are both widowers and widows. Like, that's not that we have a lot in common." She's like, "Y'all both love peace." Like, well, yeah, yeah, we do. But why are you trying to hook me up with this skeleton? This is like the oldest man who ever lived,
No,
honestly.
that's so embarrassing. He's asleep on he goes to sleep on the couch while they're talking. And to me, it's like it's not even a setup because they just went to a wedding and said, who we gonna find? Great, this man. Come home with us. Like to me, that's what it feels like happened. And this man is older than her parents.
Yeah, this is like Ginny and Sumit from
Oh my
90
god,
Day
you know I thought
Fiance.
that.
This is bad, but but Nalini's family is supportive of this because they said the women at the nursing home just chase him around like the Belos, like they think he's the hottest thing to ever step foot in a nursing home. But the fact that he's in a nursing home should let you know that maybe this isn't the guy for Nalini because she seems to be like vibrant and want to get out and do stuff still. And this guy is asleep in this home where he's supposed to be meeting Nalini for the first time.
And that's the thing, right? Like it's so sad for women. And I don't think this is just an Indian thing, but I think when women reach a certain age, they're immediately seen, right, as like just people that exist on this earth, not necessarily as like vibrant, abundant, sexual beings. Like I just don't think folks see women that way after a certain age. It's like you're sexualized 100% and then you hit a certain age and it's like, "Oh, you're just a shell of a person." And it's like, one, your worth is never defined by any of those things. But secondly, what if she does want all of those things? How dare you give her this like man that like, oh, I was gonna say something really inappropriate, so I'm glad
Well,
I
they
didn't.
well, they
But
had to
like,
check his
yuck.
pulse, Sasha. They legit had
Yes.
to check his pulse to see if he was dead or alive and just sleeping. And they gave her the thumbs up and said, "No, he's breathing, I promise." And so, yeah, you make a great point. Maybe she wants somebody who can at least be present in conversations.
Yeah. And I love that Nalini even says, "But won't you be helping?" And she says, her mom just says, "When I have the time, I will."
Right. And that's not the support that Melanie is thinking of. Like she thought I'm gonna have some backup parents for Davy. And
Yep.
what is looking like is that Davy's grandparents are like, no, actually, you're not. But if we have time, we'll pop in. And that's the kind of grandparent I plan on being one day. Okay. I'll come see the kids, but don't be dropping them off on my doorstep. I got stuff to do.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's what I wanna be, but I think that I will not be. I think I I think I'll be like, "They're my children, got it."
hmm Yeah. Have
That's how
them and
my
they're just
mom
like
is because she's been it's
entertaining
her
you.
birthday today, and she's been, like, pushing so hard to be like, "Well, the only gift I want," and I was like, "Stop it." And she's like, "But, you can send the baby to my house." I was like, like, what?"
Like, you just want me to give you something to play with? Like,
I was like, "Get a dog."
right,
She didn't like that.
exactly. I'm sure she didn't.
Oh my god. But, unfortunately, Nalini does realize she actually has no support system. Whatever she had was kind of in her imagination, which is really a bummer. And I like really feel bad for her. It's a really gross situation.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, in her head, it looked a lot better than it would,
Yes.
and then actually in practice, it's like it's not actually that great.
Yeah.
Um, But they're telling her, like, as a single mom, you are gonna need help. It just won't be us. And so,
So I got
um
you this like dinosaur.
exactly. And so she ends up going back to Nirmala's house one more time, to let her know, like, look, you're right. I'm not moving back to India. It's just not the same as I thought it was gonna be.
Mhm. And then Nirmala says, "I'm also very lonely, in case you haven't noticed." And it's like, "There's a forest in your house. I think we've noticed."
Oh,
And then we
the
get a
plants are keeping her
flashback.
company.
Right? Oh my god.
Ooh.
Yeesh. Uh, Nirmala also deserves better,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's okay. And then, we get a thing where we now find out that Arvind is actually Mohan's brother. So no wonder
Right.
he's been a wild and out like this, because he is Mohan's brother, and that's why he's like taking up so much space, I'll say, in this universe. And then yeah, turns out that, we get a flashback of Mohan telling them bye because they're on their way to India. It's from India to LA. And Nirmala, says, "This is where Mohan lived. I'm not moving." And Nalini's saying, "Well, why don't you go to Australia? Why don't you go anywhere else?" I love that she said, "Australia, plants will thrive in Australia."
Just get them to that Australian air and they'll be okay.
Yeah, you're gonna go wild in Australia. But she says, "No, Mohan lived here, and that's where I want to live." And then bam, Nalini says, "You're right. You should live where Mohan lived."
Yeah. And that's kinda like where we leave them at the time.
Yes.
It's just with Nirmala trying to figure out, well, what should I do next? And Nalini trying to help her out. And so that's the end of the India storyline for the most part. You wanna jump back
Mhm.
to our present day in California and find out what's going on with Davy?
Yes, let's do it. And I just want to say, like, it's not that I understand Nalini's mom. I do feel that, like I said, she deserves abundance too. And it shouldn't just be on mom. I just mean parental unit, like especially for a widower. Like, cut her some slack, man. Help her out a little. My God.
Yeah.
But that's all. She also deserves abundance in her life. Okay, great. Let's come back to school because Chappelle, Oliver, everyone's bestie, is here just speaking and yakking the truth all over town. Because the next scene is Eleanor and Oliver are talking about how Oliver is gonna bring his world famous potato skins, and Eleanor is like, "It's a soiree. What is wrong with you?"
Right. And I will defend Oliver a little bit. He plans on putting those potato skins in the air fryer. So that changes the game. That makes them
Period.
fancy. Air fryers, that's how you cook gourmet food, okay? But Eleanor's not having it. She's like, look, we need real appetizers here. There are bushes that need to be amused, okay? And so I love that. I love that. I have to start saying that more. There are bushes that need to be amused, people.
Listen, when next time we go to a housewarming, we have to say this.
Yes. Excuse me. Are your bushes ready? Have they been amused? Thank you.
Yeah, and they're gonna be like,
Yes.
"Get out."
Yeah,
No more
exactly.
inviting us. Oh my god. Oh, and then, of course, because why wouldn't, Ben over, because it seems like everything happens in this hallway, like,
Mhm.
period. So, Ben, of course, overhears all of this, and he says, "Not to pull rank, but I am the boyfriend, so I need to be helping plan this."
He's like, "I should be involved. You said this is a going away party for my girlfriend, and Oliver's gonna be there, so why am I not involved?" And Ben has a point. Like,
Yeah.
if Oliver can be there, so can I. But like, Eleanor's like, "No, what are you talking about? There's no guys gonna be there." Oliver's like, "Yes, yes, I am. I'm going, and I'm bringing my potato skins." So the jig is up. We found out, and now Ben is going to be involved. Oops.
I just can't help but laugh because Oliver cannot read the room to save his life.
Mm-mm. It's not one of his skills.
No, like, he's a tech guy. He has
Yeah.
to follow rules A to B, B to Z. That's him.
Mm.
No, he can't, not a problem solver, our friend. And then Eleanor now has to find Davy and be like, "We have an issue.
Yeah.
I invited Ben."
Right, like I accidentally invited the guy to the party that we're not supposed to invite to the party. But she can't uninvite him because he's already hired another guy to do the appetizers. Because Ben's
Yeah.
rich, so he's making moves. He's like, if this gonna be fancy, we're gonna make it fancy.
The abooshes will be amused. Okay.
Exactly.
And then Davy says, okay, I'll just invite Paxton. She's throwing these men, picking them up like newspapers. She's like, okay, next. All right,
Yep.
let's throw this one away too.
And she's like, that's fine. It's cool. And she goes to Paxton. And Davy is another one of those people who just can't seem to say the words. Like, she can't say, Paxton, you cannot come to this. She says, oh, well, it's going to be just girls there, so there's no way that you can actually come. And Paxton's like, are you kidding? Have you met me? I eat with just girls all the time. Like, I sit at the mall in the food court eating my pizza. And I just look up and girls are sitting at the table. So this is right up my alley. What are you talking about, Davy?
Sabaros, hello. Sabaros brings all the girls to his yard, apparently.
Look,
It's so
I'm always gonna find us Barrows. I know it's trash pizza. I know, don't at me, but it's one of like my like ghetto comfort foods. Like if I'm in a mall, I'm like, please direct me to the greasy ass like
yes.
paper thin pizza. I want it. I don't care.
In my heart, Chappelle, I understand you.
Exactly.
Because it's very hard, first of all, to find vegetarian food at the mall. Well, sorry, vegetarian food that I like at the
Mm-hmm.
mall. So what am I gonna pick? The Sabaros, obviously. And then you get a garlic knot or two. It's a
Yes.
wrap. What do you mean?
Look, that's a sponsor us. Sbarro's.
Another one. We said that last episode. Another
Yeah,
one. Okay.
we're just racking up sponsors.
Period. And then I love that the hot pockets are in the background just being stupid. Like I don't know what the hell they're doing. And it doesn't matter. She also blames it on Eleanor. She's like, Eleanor's idea. What are you doing? And then unfortunately Paxton does not back down. Not only does he not back down, Trent starts dragging and says, why are you being mean to my friend? Like,
Yeah.
what? And I think he said something about feminism, and you're like, Trent, shut up. Oh, he said,
No.
I went to the women's march. I know.
Yeah.
Women.
No, Trent starts to come into his own this season, okay? And
Yes.
I think I said this last season that like eventually Trent is a character that I relate to a lot. And here's
You
where it
messaged
starts.
me that.
Yeah, he starts to like really start to appeal to like what I was like kind of as like a high school kid and in college, because I am the guy who's saying the dumb thing in the background, but I have deep moments. And so while Davy's blaming this all on Eleanor, like, oh, stupid Eleanor, shame on her for making this an all girls function when I know my guy Paxton needs to be there. Trent's like, hey, don't be so tough on her. Women should support each other. What did we march for? And so I'm like, look at Trent supporting women, where Devi is just throwing them under the bus so that she can like have her cake and eat it too. And so yeah, she's basically running out of ideas to cancel the party, and that's when to get rid of Paxton, and that's when Paxton and Trent start to pick up on like, are you trying to get rid of me? Like, you don't want me at your party? What's happening here?
Mm-hmm. A mess. And then she's like, no. Okay. You're invited.
Yeah, like it's fine. Everything's gonna be fine. We probably should cancel the party, but Fabiola knows that no, it's fine. We'll invite more people to the party because just like a zebra can hide in a crowd of zebras, we can just hide in a crowd of teens. And this sounds like a ridiculous idea, except for the fact that we know that they are basically invisible.
Yeah, and I just couldn't stop laughing because Fabiola is 100% correct that the only way to fix this is by adding more people. But the fact that that is what she decides to say, like she's literally just sitting here and being like, we're gonna be like zebras in a herd. Who's the lion here? Because I don't think Ben or Paxton are lions. Like they're very like Paxton is like, what's a sleepy animal? Not a sloth,
Sloth?
but
Yeah, I don't know.
like someone that doesn't pay attention to,
Yeah, he's
and
just
then
moving.
yeah, like he's like an ostrich. I feel or kangaroo, where he kind of just like does his own thing.
Yeah.
But he's like a badass. And then there's Ben, right? Who's our like maybe cute little elephant. Poor guy.
Yeah, he's just like they're both just like kind of moving throughout the party. Neither one of them is hunting Davy.
No.
But they're definitely interested in her being there. And so yeah, hiding within the pack of zebras, I guess, is Fabiola's plan. And so they decide, yeah, we'll just invite a bunch of people over and try to hide within the party. Now, this is definitely a bad idea, but like I said, with them having the data that they're basically invisible anyway, I guess why not give it a try?
Yeah. And it's like a comedy of errors now because now, it's party time. Okay, everyone's invited allegedly, and Devi is freaking out again. She's getting ready and she's saying, "Am I doing something wrong? What?
Right.
Like?" And then Eleanor says, "Don't be a Davy downer. Stop
Right.
it."
They've decided to support her in her bad decisions now. It's like, Davey, you led us this way, and now your friends are all in. We talked about them. They're some ride or dies. And so
Yeah.
once you get them on board, it's hard to get them off of it. And they have a plan. They're going to have wine tasting in the living room because it's classy, and that'll take care of Ben. And then we'll have Flip Cup in the garage for Paxton because that'll keep them separate. And she'll be a legend in the school, like that sophomore that got Senora Gilbert pregnant.
I can't breathe. These are like I remember all these fake like news or these fake myths that get passed down. I remember the
mhm.
myth of like if you get hit by a car,
Woo!
like they're
At
gonna
every
pay
school, that's yeah. Why is that so, like who came up with that? So I think if you get hit by the school the
the
bus or the
bus.
shuttle on campus at a college, you get free tuition. I also heard if your roommate dies, you get free tuition like free rent.
What?
Yeah, and I know for a fact that is wrong.
Ooh,
And we won't have to get into that, but I do
no.
I've yeah, I know for a fact and okay, let's listen, they're not listening. So one of my friends, her roommate did pass away.
Oh
Um,
no.
or I'm sorry, his roommate did pass away. And my friend, she just kind of like she didn't know when the right time to ask was, so she just kind of like said it one time. She's like, "So now that that really sad thing happened, do you get like free rent?" And everybody was like, "Oh my god, you need to leave!" Like we were like, "You can't just ask somebody if they get free rent now." And he was like, "I mean, maybe I don't know." And I was like, "What do you mean?" Like, okay, I said, "Well, here's the thing: you got to go ask for it." And if you
Yeah.
ain't bold enough to go walk into the leasing office and be like, "I demand free rent," then let it go. And so we never found out that you could do that. But I'm 100% sure they knew that this roommate has away, and that's not a thing. But it's just the idea that like a bunch of stupid college students are sitting around the table like, maybe you should go to the housing office and let them know your roommate died so you can get some of your money
Oh
back.
my
You know,
god. They're gonna probably
so
shoo him
stupid.
away. Be like, "Shut up, stupid. Get out of
Get
here."
out of here, dummy. Yeah, but it's a conversation that happened. It's so weird.
I truly yes. I remember being like, "Should we just try? Who's gonna be the one to try?"
Right, like, hit me with the shuttle, but drive slow. Like, maybe it's like, just say I got hit by it. Who knows
Yeah.
what we can do?
I've fallen
Um,
off the shuttle. Like, I don't know
mhm,
how, but while coming off,
yeah.
I just face planted.
Yeah, one thing you should know about me is I'm very clumsy.
Me
And,
too.
so I've run into stuff, I've fallen off of stuff. There's plenty of pictures of me or videos of me at college probably of me just, like, being the random guy in the background falling or getting up
Yes,
off of something.
me.
So, I feel you there. I feel you.
Yeah, one time my backpack got stuck and it closed the door, and I was like, "I thought this happens in movies. Like, I can't believe this happening to me." Oh,
Yes.
embarrassing.
I'm kinda tall, so sometimes I'll walk out of a door and the handle will get latched onto, like, my belt loop, and I'm like and it'll, like, goes yank me back,
Oh,
or, like,
no.
I've had, like, pants that have, like, latched onto something where I was walking through it and it just ripped. Like, I just am so, like, accident prone sometimes. It's really embarrassing.
Yeah, one day my stepdad's pretty tall, he's 6 feet. We were walking after, like, a long day at the Santa Cruz boardwalk. No idea how, he ran into the sign. Like,
Oh, yeah.
the parking sign, that's his
Mhm.
head on the thing. And we all were just like, "Someone got shot."
'Cause they were loud. Like,
It was like,
oh, man.
"Ding."
Yeah, no, that's my life. I'm like
Yeah.
I'm 6'2", and so if there's like a tree branch or something hanging out, I will 100% of the time hit it. I will walk through every cobweb, every spider web.
Yes,
It's just the
why do
worst
they
thing
find
ever.
you? That's what
And
I have
I'm
to
so
know.
tall, and I just walk right into them, just like, and I'll always react like such a nerd. Like I'm always like trying to rip it off my face, and nobody can
Yes.
see it. The most embarrassing thing: if you walk through a cobweb and people are around, you just never come back. just walk
Yeah.
away and never come back to
And then
that
you
area
start
and hope
like
people forget.
spitting because you're like, did it go in my mouth? Is there
Oh,
a
it's
spider
on your
on me?
lip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Horrible. Ruined
Listen,
my
for us
life.
short people, it's the same thing. For me, it's walls are my nemesis. So
Mhm.
when I turn corners, it's definitely depth perception maybe is off.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe I should get my ears checked. I don't know. But yeah, immediate like body and wall. Like
yeah.
togetherness happens. And sometimes I'm
Same.
just standing and then my foot, like my ankle will give out and I just like twist it.
That
Like
shit
I'm
getting
just
old.
standing. No, that's
That shit
happened to
getting
me since I
old.
was a kid. Like, I'm just standing and then the ankle just goes, "Mwah,"
Whoop.
like, and it's like, is it made of rubber? Because how did it not break
Oh,
from what
man.
happened? But never in heels, I will say that, which is
Yeah,
sick.
okay. Handle your
Yeah.
business. Handle your business.
Listen, now it's a different story. But when I was in college, I'll say that.
Right. And,
Then I was dancing in heels. What the hell was those days?
I would say, yeah, you're basically a professional dancer, Sasha, and so for you to be dancing like that ankle is problematic.
Yes. She's hurt. I'm literally I was at a wedding this weekend and I'm just standing with all and I'm the maid of honor. Next thing you know, I'm sitting down and
Yeah.
it's because my ankle just decided it's time for us to wiggle.
Oh, man, yeah. Go ahead and have them grandkids quickly because you gotta have somebody take care of that ankle when
Oh
you get older.
shoot.
Get the coconut oil.
Please. Oh my god. What do you mean I have a husband for that?
Yes, we love that. Oh,
Exactly.
yeah,
But
but back to
anyway, back.
Davy, yeah.
Yes.
So the thing she wants from this is clout, right? Like Davy can't
Yeah.
pass out on the idea that like I'm about to do this really cool thing of legend that people are going to talk about. She wants to blow the roof off this mother and also make sure they clean up after themselves because Melanie can never find out that this happened. So to prepare for the party, they stash their big vision board with the pros and cons into the closet and they start to go get ready.
Oh, you know it's a problem. You know, like
Hmm.
I can feel the like
Yeah,
hot
it's
mess
coming.
starting. But
Oh
anyway,
yeah.
we all know Ben is gonna show up early because he's a nerd, and Paxton will be late because he's cool. Turns out we were all wrong because both boys pull up at the same time. This is how you know Paxton is down bad.
Uh-huh.
Because
Yeah,
what is he?
he showed up to the party early with drinks. Like, oh yeah, he's like, oh no, I got to go be with my girl, and that's not what cool people do, according to Davey. Like, they show up late, and honestly, I think everybody shows up late where I'm from
Yeah,
because, like, if there's a party, it started at what time? Well, what time it in? Okay, I'll get there about 11:30. Like,
yep,
like, that
100%.
way, I show up, I pregame, go up, and now that I'm older, listen. If I get there at 11:30, I'm out by 12:30. Like making my
Preaching
rounds.
to the choir.
Right, like, I'm trying to get home before 2. Y'all trying to leave at 2? I'm trying to get home before 2.
No, I'm trying to be asleep by 2. Like,
Yes.
that's why 12:30 is the best. Because then you're looking at your watch and you're like, 12:30, right? That's good. I've
Yeah.
been out it's the next day. I've been out for a whole day, looks like.
Uh-huh.
It's
Time to
time
go
to
home.
go. If I'm home by, like, 12:45 or 1, it's a great time. That's why I'm struggling with Halloween plans because I was like, "Oh my god, I actually have to go
Mhm.
out?"
I gotta be outside a long time?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm mad
gosh.
that my Halloween's plan changed because last minute because I could have hosted a Halloween party at my house,
Ooh.
my Squid Games party, but it's okay. It's really
Okay.
okay. I'll find another thing. But anyway, so then everyone's obviously freaking out because they're like, what if they both try to kiss you?
Yeah, like, and that's honestly a good concern because 'cause they're both walking at her. All the girls are
Yes.
standing at the door, and they're watching Ben and Paxton basically walk up next to each other, and so it's like it's moving in slow motion. They're getting closer and closer. They don't know what to do. What if they, like, both lean in for a kiss? What if they both like, "Hey, babe," or something like that? They need a diversion, and luckily, the robotics team shows up just in time. The entire robotics team. Because they left
Oh my god.
the pregame that they started at Chuck E. Cheese.
Bless their hearts. First of all, it's like, how is Jaws music not playing right? Bottom,
Mhm.
bottom, while both of these fools are walking up. But it's okay because the robotic team like cock blocks, I feel like, and they comes in, and then Eric's mom, right, like leaves. She's waiting in the driveway until he gets in the house. How did this mom not see Paxton with the beer?
She
That's
don't
what I
care.
want to know. Yeah, she's probably
She
like, my kid's doing something out. Thank God.
Yeah, she's just staring at the robotics thing. She's such a proud mom because Eric, we saw in the first season, is very nerdy
Yeah.
as well. And so, but I don't think Eric knows that he is. And
No.
so Eric thinks he's the coolest guy at the party. And so him and his friends are ready. They've showed up early because they're not cool, but they also pregame. So yeah, she misses Paxton with these like cases of beer under his arms.
Yeah, and Eric has a thing going on because he said, "I'm gonna steal hats, and that's how I'm gonna get a girl." Okay, so Eric is there with like he's ready to go, and Fab says, "I have never been so happy for the robotics team."
Right. Like she's like, oh, my people, they came through. And so yeah, Eric's gonna be stealing hats to
Yes.
hopefully lure some girl to come talk to him, I guess.
Oh
Um,
God,
and
Eric.
so yeah, so they avoid that initial problem where, Davy doesn't have to greet Paxton and Ben. They just both come in separately and then she can kind of go focus on them one at a time.
Hmm.
But the new problem is that
Yes.
Paxton, who is supposed to be in the garage because that's what we think he wants to do, play flip cup, he's at the wine station inside the living room with Ben because Trent's dad is a sommelier and has been teaching Trent, I guess, some wine like terms. And
Facts.
Trent's
Yeah.
basically Trent's basically hosting a wine tasting with the knowledge that he's learned from his dad. And again, this is where I relate to Trent because I am a goofy person, okay? I am the guy in the back of the class making jokes. I am foolish, but I have a wealth of knowledge in random areas. And so if you put me in the right situation, I can talk about whatever. And Trent, yeah, he shocks everybody. He's trying to teach them about these blends and how different grapes can bring out like different flavors. And I like that. And, like, look at Trent, all his layers.
And he's like being a grown up, I feel, because he's like over here being like, listen, this is how this works, la la la. Like, we're gonna be so great. And everyone's like watching and about it. And I also appreciate that Ben and Paxton are like hanging out with each other. Like, it's not a big
Mhm.
deal, which I'm freaking out. But then, speaking of freaking out, Oliver, of course, is being annoying again. And him and Eleanor are arguing again. I can't even remember. I literally put in my notes Oliver's being so annoying. But
Yeah.
eventually he asks Ben, "Hey, let's go play Flip Cup." And Ben says, "Yeah, you're right." So it turns out Ben is the one that ends up at Flip Cup while Paxton is staying with Wine. So our plan has flipped, but it's still in motion a little bit. I'll say that.
Yeah. Oliver's inability to read the room is what saves them in this moment because Ben and Paxton are
Yes.
like right next to each other and they're both like, Davy, come over here and try to whine. But luckily Eleanor being done with Oliver, she's like, Oliver, go away, find somebody else
Yes.
to play with. And luckily that person is Ben. And so they go outside to play flip cup.
Yes. Thank God. And then so Ben's out of the way. So now Davy can romance boyfriend number 1 or boyfriend number 2. I don't know. A little bit. Maybe Paxton's boyfriend number 2, because technically Ben said 1 first. And he said Davy's surprised he's drinking because it's swim meet time. And he says, nah, like I'm not drinking because there's gonna be a Stanford scout at his swim meet tomorrow. Chappelle, but he'd rather go to ASU. But I guess Stanford has better swimming.
Yeah, and Davy's shocked. She's never heard anybody speak because Stanford is like she's going to one of these big good schools. Like she's like, I got my list. I'm going to Stanford. I'm going to Princeton. I'm going to Harvard. Like Davy knows what she wants, and for Paxton to be casually talking about Stanford like it's somebody's backup choice, it's just not working for her. But of course, Paxton's like, I don't know what this school is about. I just want to go swim, and so
Mhm.
he but he does tell her like, "Hey, the scout's coming tomorrow. I know I would like to see you when I get out the pool." And she's like, "I would like to see you when you get out the pool and you're soaking wet." I'm like, "Okay, it's a lot going on."
We love it. Okay. And I can say that because the actor that plays Paxton is 30. He is nice.
Yeah, that's a grown.
Oh
Yeah, the
my
actor.
god.
Yeah, he's grown. That's a grown man. They
Yeah.
all grown, but he grown.
Yeah, exactly. And then I love that McEnroe was like, "How dare you disrespect the tree?"
Yeah. Yeah, well, I've heard how your ideas about Stanford's mascot before, being the tree. You were the first person
Yes.
I ever heard point that out on the podcast. I was yelling when I was listening to that. I think it was the
The
Rob has a podcast
outlist.
like our list.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so funny.
I know. And then I was on NGOG and somehow it got brought up again. I was like, what is this? Me and this freaking tree.
You in the tree.
Yeah, I got really mean comments and I was like, chill out. It is the tree. Anyway, and then Ben is now enter scene and says, Davy, come on, let's play Flip Cup. So, of course, she does go. She says, okay, it's time. Let me leave Paxton now. And then Eve is now, entered. And she has invited her friend Sasha over, who, of
Yes.
course, is a very sassy like little like person and Sasha's about it. Okay, Sasha's like, I know everything there is to know about, what's cool, what's queer, and what's about it. So they invite her to like King Princess, and Eve is like, what is that? No, not Eve. Fab is like, what's that?
Yeah, and Sasha's like, I don't know how to deal with you, Fabiola. Sasha's never met anybody like Fabiola who's just
Yeah.
like 100% nerdy. And so she's thinking at least know some of these references because throughout the episode, we've seen Fabiola struggling with that. Like she didn't know what the L word was.
Mhm.
She doesn't know what King Princess is. She's not picking up on a lot of these pop culture references. And, they end up telling her like she's a singer. King Princess is a singer, and it's the most unproblematic lesbian out there. And so, of course, Fabiola probably in her head is trying to figure out what is a lesbian. And so she's having a difficult time
Oh,
connecting to pop culture, but also I guess some of the things that are talked about in her LGBTQ circle that she's now in.
yes. And then we get to Eleanor. Because it's really a bummer. I hope like Fabiola figures this out, and even Fabiola rather together figure this out, because
Hmm.
I think in high school it's really hard when you are trying to figure out your own personality and then you're dating someone, so then you're both like, okay, I guess we're supposed to like everything the other person likes. It's not true. You really don't. You really
Yeah.
don't.
Or even like in friend groups where you like might be
Yes,
hanging
that's
out with a
true.
bunch of people and you're like, okay, because we're in this group, we all should do the same thing. And like I know with my friend group, like I've told you before, I'm of course the class clown, but like
Mhm.
I'm the goofy one and I'm making the jokes and stuff like that. But in the meantime, yeah, I'm probably watching a bunch of television or reading a lot of books or doing extra stuff. Whereas my friends are like, oh, let's go play basketball. I'm like, I'll play basketball for a little bit, but when we leave, they gotta know like I'm about to go watch Big Brother because it's the summer.
Yes.
And like and they don't have and they could be okay with it, like that's kind of one of these things where it's like you're trying to navigate like, is it okay for me to like this show? Is it okay for me to be interested in this?
Mhm.
Do I have to be interested in it because everyone else is interested in? And so yeah, it's hard to see Fabiola kind of struggling with this, but hopefully her and Eve will get it together and she can kind of support her because it's a new world for Fabiola, whereas Eve has been there for a little bit, it seems.
Yeah, exactly. And that's gonna unfold all season. So we'll see a little bit more of that. And then we get to our girl Eleanor. She's very excited because Malcolm is there. He was on a Disney show and he's over here, telling us all about how you shouldn't name drop. But apparently Miley Cyrus told him, don't
Yeah.
name drop. So he's like giving me very Tool vibes already, but like Eleanor seems to really take a liking to him.
Yeah, this is what Eleanor is looking for in life. She wants to be Malcolm so bad. Like she wants to be the one who's like, "Oh, I was a child star and oh, I was the star of the stretched out world of Kyle French and I come back and tell everybody about all the glorious thing about celebrity and name drop." Like he's speaking her language and she's watching from a distance and her mouth is like watering because
Yeah.
she's like, "I have to meet this guy, but I like Eric stole my hat. I'm not dressed for networking. Like I got to get vodka and I got to get vodka now." And so she rushes off to go find some.
Oh, bless her heart. And then, of course, Ben is now comes to the wrong side of the house. He's showing up. And Davy's like, okay, you know what, Ben, let's send you up to the bedroom. Okay. But turns out our friend Paxton is already up there because he got bored.
Yeah. I mean, Paxton has been looking for Davy. Remember, this Davy's going away party and he can't
Yes.
find her. Ben finds her and she's like, "Oh yeah, go upstairs," because she's trying to keep him away from Paxton. So now the two boys are upstairs, and unfortunately for them, Eric has hidden in the closet but he took the pros and cons board out of the
Mhm.
closet and just sat it in Davy's room. So both of these boards are standing inches away from this, basically a bulletin board where their pros and cons are listed about why Davy should date them. Like all the secrets are right there in front of them, and neither one of them have just turned their head and looked
Ooh.
at it.
Can you imagine?
The stress.
Oh my god. And then they were like touching the cork board. I was like, I want to cry because
Yeah.
I can't do this. Like, I truly can't.
Yeah, and this is just because Eric is stupid and he's like hiding in the closet, hoping that someone will come looking for the hats that he's been stealing all night. Like, what are you doing, Eric? Why are you doing this?
God, it's just like so hard. But it's okay. Turns out one of the friends, named Fabiola, has seen this. So she runs up and she's like, let's figure this out. And Fabiola, I love that Eleanor, also sees this. So Eleanor first texts Davy, but Davy unfortunately has left her phone somewhere on the island, and Davy's like walking around. So Eleanor can't tell Davy, okay? And Eleanor's on her way to find Davy, but our boy Malcolm is giving her some attention. So Eleanor said, "You know what? Maybe it's time for me to live a little. How about that?"
Yeah, she's worried about Davy, but again, this is Eleanor's, like, this is the best case scenario for Eleanor. Somebody who's already an actor who has
Yes.
made it at this age is there, and he's saying, "Hey, can you show me around?" And she's done. She's in heaven. And she's in heaven, and Davy is in hell because she is like she just happened to walk up. So all of this is going on. Fabiola's upstairs distracting the boys. Eleanor is getting shown around by Malcolm. And Davy should be going upstairs to find at least Ben, but she overhears Shira and Zoe talking about
Ooh.
Paxton. Now, could you break down the conversation, Sasha?
Yeah, basically they're being very like, imagine Valley girls, twirling their hair. And basically Shira's like, so did you hook up with Paxton? And Zoe is like, I mean, and it's just basically over and over.
She's like, so I heard you're dating Paxton. She's like, who told you that? Like, girl,
I mean,
you know you ain't dating him. Stop
you
it.
are damn lie. That's what the hell you are, Zoe.
Yes, it is dry. Davy is not one to take any of this, okay? So
Mm-mm-mm.
Davy is like, I'm sorry, what was said? Who said Paxton's name? I'm sorry, you're
Dating
dating
who?
who?
What?
Why? Where? Who is?
For what reason?
Right. She is in hell. Davy is she about to burn the place down because she
Yeah.
cannot believe what she's hearing.
Davy's like screaming at her, basically. It feels like, because Davy's like, no, actually, I am dating Paxton.
Yeah, because the girls are confused. They're like, Davy, why do you even care what we're talking about? Because like you're just this strange girl who lives in this hilarious yellow house. Right, like, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm Paxton's legit girlfriend. Like, you're pretending to be his girlfriend, but I'm that girl. I'm sorry for you.
And it's so funny because they like don't even care. They're like, you're a liar. Shut up.
Right. They like, Paxton ain't never seen you before because we barely ain't seen you before. Like, we don't know who you are, you strange woman.
Yep.
Davy shook. She's shook. But of course, in typical form, right? And ever, if you haven't picked up on this, anytime somebody revealing a secret, somebody is right behind them to hear it. And this time it is Ben.
Woo-hoo. Ben said, what? What? You're dating Paxton? What? Excuse me? And then this is why King Ben, because he just goes to Paxton and he's like, did you know we're dating the same person?
I love it. I love Paxton's reactions. Like, no, you're probably wrong. Like, there's no way. Because from Paxton, he's so hot that he can't perceive that he's being like, there's no way. There's no way that
He's just
anybody
like,
who
he's
would
like,
date
no.
me. No, sorry, you're wrong. Ben's like,
Yeah.
no. In the middle of the party, Ben does this. Like, no. We're dating the same person, and it's Davy. And Paxton is shocked.
Yes, because I love that Davy now has to explain herself. So she's like, well, let me explain. But it sounds a lot like what Ben just said.
Right. Like he didn't lie. Comma but. Like
And then she says, but it's not as bad as it sounds. You didn't even notice.
right. And if I was a guy, you'd be high-fiving me. Like, look at misogyny. Look at y'all. Y'all should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah.
Man,
Listen, Queen. Exactly what
ma'am,
I would have said.
ma'am, stop it.
Remember when you almost got voted out of Among Us?
Yes, because Sasha
For
Chappell, like
misogyny.
misogyny. Yeah, misogyny almost got me voted out the game. But yeah, so David's like misogyny.
God.
Like this is not fair. If I was a guy, y'all would be high fiving me. And to their defense, I would say no, Davy. If you were a
No.
guy, they would be saying, "Why are you cheating on us?" See, that's the thing. If it was an outside person, right, like a third party, then they would be like, "Yeah, they can high five their friend for doing that to someone else." But this is them. They're not gonna be like, "Oh, okay, yeah." If it was a dude, we'd let it slide. No, no, no. You're still a cheater. And also, this is getting aired out in front of the entire party, Sasha. The entire rager, everyone hears this.
And Ben is like low key okay, like used to this humiliation. Paxton is not. So Paxton's like, who does she think she is? I gave her the time of day, and she got like Paxton is down bad, y'all.
Yeah.
Paxton is down bad.
This is the worst feeling in the world. The worst feeling in the world is when you don't want to, like when you think you're better, against your better judgment, you date somebody or you start talking to
Yes.
somebody, and then they make you have your clown nose on and you had your clown makeup on because they didn't played you like a fool. Because you're sitting at home, you're like, I shouldn't have even been in that position. I don't even know why I let myself get like this. Like, what is wrong with me?
Chappell.
Isn't that the worst feeling? Where you're like, man, I really out here looking dumb. Like, look at me like a dumbass.
Yeah, when I went to visit India, well, I went to Israel and then India for a summer. This boy legit just decided that, like, you're not worth the time. I was gonna come back to college. It was just for the summer, and just like dropped me. So I was like, okay, like I was sad, but whatever. So I came back, was not giving him the time of day because I have some self-respect. Chappelle, he made a whole presentation on why I should take him back. So, I'm stupid, and I did.
Mm-hmm.
And
Put your clown nose on.
Yep, because I bet you in 6 months, he just left. He just took his stuff and bounced.
Oh my gosh. One of the listeners is going to like really feel this in your soul. But sometimes you just, against your better judgment, you shouldn't do this. And then you let it happen. You like, wow, I really got played.
And they
there's
really
nothing you
try to
can do.
make you feel like, oh, you're special. No.
Yeah.
No. Don't do
Yeah.
this, people.
Yeah. I've been on both sides of that.
Yeah,
I've
same,
definitely,
obviously.
yeah.
My karma came back.
Well, the other side, I was more like a revenge. It was kind of like, okay, listen, I know that I lost this battle, but what if I make the grand presentation and I bring them back and then I dump them? And that's how you get your power back. Now, don't listen.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that. Y'all don't go
No.
listen. Y'all ain't gotta live like I live. Again, I'm single. I ain't married like Sasha.
Don't
now,
do that.
Yeah,
Well,
but
because
I
you know that
definitely
the
have
other
gone and got
person
that person.
has mental health issues, because I truly believe that this person did have mental health issues.
Like they must be crazy if they acting like this.
Yeah, he showed up at my apartment after we after I dropped his stuff off because he bounced from my house in 6 months. I like dropped his stuff off, and then he showed up at my house with like brights on my windows. Crazy.
He had to win you
Absolute
back.
wild. No, sir, please.
He came to your house to deliver the clown nose.
Yes,
Like,
thank
put
you.
this
That's why
on.
he
I'm about
tried
to make a
it.
fool of you.
Thank God, because I also had 2 friends sitting there.
Yeah.
My own Eleanor and Fabiola, and they were like, absolutely not. We're not gonna do this. Let you do this again. We're the like 3rd time. So he didn't get me that time. Thank God for my friend.
Me, Puya, and Scally are somebody's Eleanor and Fabiola. We have to get our friend together sometimes, but we won't get into that.
Nope. No, I understand that in my heart. Yes, because I was definitely, like I said, I have big Devi energy. It's the truth. Like, and have I done that to people? Yes. And have my friends intercepted so I wouldn't get caught? 100%. So don't feel bad for me is the point.
Right. I deserve my
it,
karma.
still,
No, I deserve my karma, but
this is, did it to the same person. I definitely.
Well, I went back to get them. So yeah, like, it was basically their karma. I just had to make sure I delivered it. I was like, oh no, you're not getting away with this one.
He did try to text me on Valentine's Day and said another single Valentine's Day, and I did text back, maybe for you.
Show that ring.
Oh my God. No, it was like in a few months. And listen, being in a sorority, and I'm sure you know, being in a fraternity, people come into your life very quickly.
Right. Like buses. Miss one, next 15,
What
one
did I
coming.
say? Exactly. Best advice. Okay, I'm telling you. And that's exactly what happened. I was like, sir, I have to go to mixer. I'm the president of my sorority. Okay. I have to show up to so many meetings. Sir, I will be finding a Valentine's Day date.
No, you
Okay.
show up to meetings dressed, okay?
Thank
Dressed.
you.
All
Are you
right.
kidding me? And guess what? I did get asked out for Valentine's Day just because of that. Did I
Hey,
subtweet and say, oh, I hate Valentine's Day? Yes. Was my DMs popping because of that?
of
100%.
course. That's why we send those tweets.
Thank you.
Duh.
Listen, there's a reason I
Keep
named it
up.
fun size. Okay. Oh my God. I really should change that now that I'm a grown
Mm-mm.
up. Just kidding.
No,
Never.
it works. It works. But listen,
Yep.
so this is when Paxton storms off, and of course Davy chases after him, which I was like,
Leaving
okay,
Ben behind, everyone.
right. Ben is standing there, just shook in the kitchen in front of everybody, just embarrassed because this is where I realized that Davy was Ben's girlfriend. Davy is not Paxton's girlfriend. He has never asked her to be his girlfriend, but Davy did say, Ben, yes, we are girlfriend and boyfriend. We are exclusive. And so Ben is devastated.
He looks like a lost puppy.
Uh-huh.
Like
Yeah.
Ben cannot catch a break, man. Like his parents is now his first girlfriend, Shira, now Davy. Like, my God, can someone please help our guy? Please.
Yeah. And you know what? Honestly, um, I really like it. I don't think I could ever come back from this. Like if I'm
No.
Ben, this here, like if I'm Paxton, I'm already like, okay, David, this is over with. Like you embarrass me
Yeah.
in front of people. Public embarrassment is where I draw the line. Like I can have my clown nose on in my own house where ain't nobody
Yes.
looking. But my clown nose, Sasha, I told you about this before.
Yes.
My clown nose aired out for everybody to see. Oh no, baby, we shutting this down. And so if I'm Ben, Davy is dead to me at this point.
More than it's like she is a ghost, okay?
Right.
Like, and not Casper, the friendly ghost where I see you and talk to you. You are
Yeah.
the ghost that I don't see. You can't walk yourself over to hell.
Right,
Okay?
exactly. Sorry for that ghost, because I don't know them.
No, Kiki Palmer their ass because no way would you. Oh my God. If anyone ever embarrassed me, it's a wrap. Like, I'll never forget it for the rest of my I didn't. I just told you the story because I will never
Yeah,
forget it. You
I
wouldn't
told
have
you.
me looking stupid.
Right, I told you. Woo, it gets me. It just makes me so angry thinking about it. Like, dang
Yep.
it, that clown nose still around here somewhere.
No, we're gonna believe it in its black Chappelle. We would not allow you.
Gotcha.
Oh my God. But yes, and then, Davy says, I didn't mean to hurt you. Da da da. And then Paxton says, as if you could hurt me.
Listen, that conversation is a lot more heated than you painted it. They are yelling at each other in the street, like, Paxton, come back. Like, I didn't mean to hurt you. And this, again, the whole party is like walking out into the yard looking at this happen. This is like ghetto fight that, like the boyfriend girlfriend fights that be happening. Like, this is a full on, like, I didn't mean to hurt you. As if you could ever hurt me. They're
And
going back and forth.
they're in the streets doing
Yeah.
this stuff.
Yeah. Ooh,
Like,
ghetto.
yeah, it's getting ratchet. And then don't forget, our friend Trent is up on the roof
Yeah.
this
For
whole
no real
time.
reason. Yeah.
No,
Just he's drunk.
yeah, he's Trent. And of course, while they're screaming at each other, everything's going fine. You're just like, okay, it's a teenage argument. Bam! Hit. Paxton gets hit by a car.
Yes. It's like the same energy of that like scene from Mean Girls where she's like,
Yes.
"You're a mean girl." Like, and then like she
Pushes
like
Regina.
she pushes Regina George into the street,
A
right?
legend. I'm just
Like,
kidding.
yeah, and then she dies, but she doesn't die.
Yeah.
But like that's the same energy. Like, oh, I was like, oh no, she's about to die. Like Paxton's dead, and he doesn't die, but man, the entire party sees this. I mean, the cell phones are out, Instagram stories, Snapchat. He's going viral.
Oh my God. He's everywhere. But the noise was really loud.
Yeah,
Like
I
him
mean,
hitting the thing. Oh my God. It was
yeah,
bad.
you could tell that car creamed him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that
Uh,
sucks.
and then, of course, our friend Trent just screams, Blood Brothers for life, and jumps off the roof to help him.
Uh, yeah,
Trent, you're a big dummy.
one of my friends jumped off a second-story balcony for me to catch them when I was in college.
was
I did catch him.
was di- w- d-
I told you what kind of friend I was. I was Trent-esque, and so my friend was like, "I'm jumping." I was like, "I got you," because we are the hot pockets, I guess, in this moment, being stupid. And both of us were under the influence as well,
of
and so
course.
yeah, but I couldn't let him just jump and not catch him. Dang, Sasha, what kind of friend would I be?
This is where like I will never like it's like I know that it's sexist, like men are from Mars, women are from Venus, but like it's the truth. Because the fact that someone even would say, because like I am the drunk that's like I want to be everyone's friend because that is not me normal. So
Hmm.
I just want to like hug everyone and touch you, and that's who I am as a drunk. But I cannot imagine doing something stupid.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, everybody was watching because he's like making a
Of
scene, like I'm
course.
about to jump, and I'm like, I got you. It's like looking back, I'm like you idiot, but in the moment, I was having a good time, so I no regrets. I caught him.
And now it's a fun story for a podcast.
Exactly. Oh my gosh.
And that's like the end of the party. Somehow things do get cleaned up, everyone. Devi is listening to her dad's voicemail because we know our girl is very shook. And then, it's whatever, whenever it's, I don't know if it's the next day, whatever. Nalini's back. It's
Yeah.
been a hard few days for Devi. Our girl's struggling. And she said, "What if we moved to India earlier, mom?"
Yeah, I think this is the next day because if you think about it, they haven't gone back to school yet, right? And
Oh, that's
Davey's trying
true.
to
Yeah,
yeah, and Davey's trying to get out of the country before she has to go back to school and deal with the
true.
social implications of what she just did, right? So she's like, "Look, this video is going viral. It's been a hard time. I had some people over here secretly like remember when I said I wanted to get caught when I was in India, so I have to deal with it? What if we just speed that up? Like I already got caught. Let's get to India."
Yeah,
Um,
and I love it because Nalini notices that Ganesh statue is, like, askew. So she said, "You had people over," and Davey's like, "I had a lot of people over, multiple people over. Would you send me to boarding school?" Which, again, I understand that threat. But Nalini says, "Nope, why would I pay for other people to raise you? I'm too jet lagged to deal with any of this."
yeah.
Davey
This is
screwed.
Yeah, and David, you know it's bad when you ask him for a punishment. I have done that. Like, mama, listen, I screwed up. I'm grounding myself. I'm finna come in here. She's like, nah, we going to church. Like, God dang it, trying to
Yeah.
go to church. Like, I gotta leave the house. I was really trying to get myself locked into this room and it's just like it just chill, maybe read a book or something because I done screwed up outside. And I know now I gotta go be around my aunt that I'm pissed off or one of my cousins that I'm beefing with. So I've been there. But oh yeah, it's so relatable that Melanie noticed that statue because my mom is the same way. Like she'll come home
100%.
and be like, "Who been here?" I'm like, such and such came for a second. Da, 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 da. Like you just might as well just come out and say it
Yep.
because you don't know what she saw that already alerted her that someone's there. So you might as well just come out with it because if you lie, then you have to explain. Well, it's like okay, well, if no one was here, then why is that random thing that's never right there, right there? And you're like, of course you noticed that. No one
Yeah.
else will, but you
Moms are
did.
like, they have like X-ray vision. I don't know what it is. It's sick. Cause yeah, I've gotten
Yeah.
caught so many times. And then later on, my mom will be like, "Yeah, you did this. That's how I caught you." And I was like, "Well, damn, I'm an idiot."
Yeah.
So
It
it's
took a
just
it took a few years for me to realize what it was that was like tipping her off. Like cuz I was like, does she have the house bugged? What is it? But it's just that like my mom it was like because growing up, it was just me and her and my brother. So she knows she's like the primary cleaner of the house, right? And then of course she
Oh.
trained me to clean, but she also knows the things I do poorly, right? So
Yep.
it's
The
kind
what
of like
mom clean is a different clean.
exactly. So then it's something like she like somebody's been in this house. Why? It's like because you wash the dishes. Like I always wash the dishes. Like yeah, but like I already washed the dishes. Like yeah. She's like, well, why did you rewash the dishes? I'm like, how do you know I rewashed the dishes? She's like, because I can tell when I wash the
Mhm.
dishes and when you wash the dishes. I'm like, damn it, how did she do that? You know, like,
Oh
so
God.
it's mom skills. They're amazing.
Yeah, they know everything. They're not stupid. And like your like prefrontal cortex is not developed as much. So
Mhm.
you're going to be making stupid mistakes and you're going to be reckless and they're
Yeah.
going to catch your ass. And that's exactly what happened. And then but we do have some good news because remember
Mhm.
when we said that Nalini said Nirmala should be where Mohan grew up. Turns out Nirmala is moving to the United States of America, everyone.
Right. This is the only good thing to come out of this for Devi. Like,
Yes.
she's so happy to see her grandmother. She's like, "Oh, whew, I needed this." Also, I know my mom is gonna get some like stress relief, because she needs the
Mhm.
support, the help. But it's hard for her to focus on her new roommate because she's still worried about what's gonna happen if she ever has to go back to school and talk about that love triangle that she's now caught up in.
Oof, oof, oof. It's just so sad. Like, the whole situation is so sad.
Yeah, but it's messy, but it's good mess, right? Like, so this is the mess
Yes,
that we wanna watch, right? So,
100%. I'm just like,
yeah.
"My God." And now with this whole, season is gonna be Davy navigating this, everyone. So buckle up, cause our poor girl is struggling.
Yeah, like, that's what I said, out the gate, episode 1 was good. Episode 2, you're like, "Oh, okay." Because I don't know, I think when I first watched this, I thought we were gonna get longer like, a longer
Yeah.
drawn out, like, a Team Dave, Team Ben, Team Paxton, like, kinda like the Twilight thing. But, like
Mhm.
but,
Yep.
like, no, episode 2, we're like, "Boom, that's over with, and let's get to the conflict." And so, the rest of this is a roller coaster, and, I'm very excited to talk about it.
Me too. I'm so ready for this because like it's gonna be wild. I mean, we know what happens. It's just things get really messy. And of course, Davy, instead of fixing, like Deshawn on Survivor, right? She's retying the knots instead of untying them. That's our
Mhm.
girl. Spoiler alert, everyone. But still, it's just what a mess. And I love it. This is why we love mess. So
Mhm.
it's really exciting. And that is like it. That wraps up this episode. Chappelle, anything else about this episode?
Nope, this is a good one. Like, and once you get to this one, you kinda have to push through and watch the entire season in one day. I'm telling you,
Obviously.
this just lets you know there's so much more to talk about. We have an interesting episode for the following episode. We got some
Mhm.
guests coming up this season too. So yeah, I feel like we're like now we're in the thick of it all.
Yes, we're here, people. Get excited. And with that, I think it's time to wrap things up. So, Chappelle, where can people find you?
Well, you can follow me at Chappelle's_show on Twitter, tweeting about stuff. That's what I do. But you can also catch me on other podcasts. I'm on postshowrecaps.com talking about The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, and Walking Dead World Beyond all at the same time. Um, the Walking Dead proper is on a break, but we're still talking about Fear the Walking Dead and The Walking Dead World Beyond. Me, myself, Jessica Leese, AJ Mask, and Josh Wigler whenever he pops in. So that's a good time. And then also I'm the co-host of the Nothing But Netflix podcast. I was about to say the Never Have I Ever podcast, yeah, but the Nothing But Netflix podcast on Rob Has a Podcast, where every week we're talking about a new Netflix show. So if you have suggestions for that, tweet me at me or give us some feedback about this episode as well. But yeah, that's what I got going on.
Perfect. And as for me, you can find me on Twitter at funsize_04, where you can find out more podcasts I'm doing. The biggest thing is Love and Hip Hop has wrapped up. So if you didn't check it out last week, make sure you check that out. Chappelle and I were on it, wildin', living our best life. So honestly, you need to if you haven't already. And with that, thank you so much for listening. Remember, if you're listening to us on Apple, please leave us a review. If you're listening to us on Spotify, follow us. Make sure you're in the know about what's going on because now we have Penthouse. We have a bunch of other stuff coming on Silent Podcast. So if you're into like org games that are on YouTube, check out Penthouse. Check out our coverage. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.